Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I have called this meeting following concerns from my advisors. I have been told that the fundamentals for the economy are getting much worse and a financial collapse is very close. We can no longer duck the issue. We have managed to keep the illusion of recovery for that little bit longer, but I am afraid that we have run out of options.
Mr. President, surely we can continue with quantitative easing. The stock markets have been rising to record levels.
There is no doubt at all that we shall be continuing the quantitative easing program, because without it, there will be a catastrophic collapse, and I do not want a collapse on my watch.
Mr. President, are you absolutely sure there are no options to prevent an economic collapse?
I have been advised that we have run out of options. We are heading for an economic collapse. It's now a question of how we manage it.
How come we allowed the economic problem to get so bad?
Come on, Lucy, you know as well as I do that the public are fickle and do not like to hear reality. That is why we continue to promise the earth. We all know full well that we cannot deliver. It's a game. The problem is reality will eventually arrive.
It seems like reality has arrived.
That is right, and that is why we need a strategy. We have to be one step ahead of the public. We need to plan. It's rather like a chess game. When I was sworn into office, I really wanted to be honest with the electorate. However, I have found in practice, this cannot be done. We have to manage bad news. My advisors have told me that it would be unwise to let the collapse happen naturally. It has to be incremental and nonlinear.
What do you mean by that?
You have to understand the psychology of people. They have to be manipulated over a period of time. Unfortunately, we have to send out mixed messages to the public. For example, it has been announced that quantitative easing will be tapered. Then it's been announced that it will continue at the same rate, or even a faster rate. There has been some good news on recovery, and sometimes less encouraging news is drip-fed. All this causes a zigzag in the markets. People are left confused, and that is beneficial to us. Okay, here is the strategic plan to manage the collapse. Firstly, we must continue to provide upbeat news through the mainstream media. Secondly, we need to continue with quantitative easing, because as I have said before, I do not want the collapse to happen on my watch. Thirdly, we need to look at the options for introducing the bail-in. This time we will not be in a position to have another troubled asset relief program. The money will have to be raised by the depositors. Fourthly, we will need to restrict access to bank accounts to prevent bank runs. Fifthly, we need to restrict the freedoms of the individuals to prevent massive social unrest. We shall have to use the excuse that it is for their safety. Sixthly, we need to place more restrictions on the internet. Too many people are providing alternative views to the mainstream media. The last thing we want is a well-informed, educated public.
Mr. President, these proposals seem very draconian. It would be like living in a police state. Why on earth did we allow this dreadful state of affairs to happen? The banks and corporations became very greedy and the ordinary person is paying the price. It seems that the banking elite are getting richer whilst the average person is getting poorer. It's a crying shame, it really is.
Lucy, get real. Read your history books. This is the way life is. We are now in a super cycle and about to enter the greatest depression ever, and that is because record amount of money have been borrowed from the future. Desperate times call for desperate measures.